You know, when we think about fire safety, our minds usually jump to those same old red fire extinguishers we've seen our entire lives. But here's the thing. The technology behind fire suppression has taken a massive leap forward. Today, it's not just about putting out a fire, it's about doing it way faster, much more effectively, and this is huge, with absolutely zero collateral damage to our property or the environment. So let's dive right in and explore the strategy and the science behind this next generation approach to staying safe. So let's start with a pretty startling fact. Almost every single fire, we're talking 99% of them, can be put out successfully. But how? What's the secret? What's that one variable that decides if a tiny spark just becomes a minor issue or a full-blown disaster? The answer? It's time. You have a 3-minute window. That is it. If you can react effectively within the first 3 minutes of a fire breaking out, your chances of stopping it are incredibly high. And that single number, 3 minutes, completely shapes the strategy for modern fire safety. It tells us we don't just need powerful solutions. We need solutions that are unbelievably fast and simple for anyone to use.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the core science behind it all. Then we'll look at 3 very different strategies: what to do for an active response, how to set up automated protection, and what's needed for specialized situations. We'll also dig into the ecological impact, and then we'll wrap it all up with a totally new way to think about your fire safety strategy.
Okay, before we get into the specific products, we've got to understand the revolutionary science that makes them all work. This is not your standard foam or messy powder. Nope. This is a liquid solution that operates on a completely different principle. So here's the magic. This technology hits all 3 sides of the fire triangle, heat, oxygen, and fuel, all at the same time. First, it kicks off this incredibly fast cooling effect. Second, as the liquid turns to vapor, it creates a cloud that literally pushes oxygen away from the fire. But, and this is so important, it doesn't suck the oxygen out of the room, so you can still breathe safely. And finally, it goes through a process called saponification, which basically creates this protective film over the fuel, stopping the fire from dangerously starting up again. And check this out. This chart shows just how insanely powerful that cooling effect really is. I mean, look at this data. In just 10 seconds, the Flamark solution can take a surface temperature from a blistering 900 degrees Celsius all the way down to a totally safe 30 degrees. You can see conventional foam over there barely even makes a dent in comparison. That speed is what stops a fire dead in its tracks. All right, let's look at our first scenario. This is the one we all probably picture. There is an active, growing fire and it needs to be stopped, like right now. We're talking about a fire in a hotel kitchen, a busy retail store, a huge warehouse, or even an office. Places where the first person to see the flames might be a clerk or a hotel guest, not a highly trained firefighter. So for that exact situation, you need a tool that's as easy to use as a can of hairspray, but hits with the force of a professional fire extinguisher. And that's where Fire Delete comes in. It's designed to completely bridge that gap, putting serious firefighting power into the hands of pretty much anyone, no training needed. Now, what's so smart about this is how it deals with the human factor, right? Most people hesitate to grab a traditional extinguisher. They're heavy, they're confusing, they're intimidating. Fire Delete is dead simple. Pop the cap, point, and spray. It gives you a 6-meter safety bubble so you're not getting right up next to the fire. And here's a huge one. It actually helps eliminate toxic smoke, clearing the air so you can breathe. And because it's not some messy powder or foam, there's zero collateral damage to your expensive electronics or equipment. Oh, and it's maintenance-free for 5 years. You just put it there and forget about it. And from a technical standpoint, this thing is an absolute powerhouse. It can handle Class A fires, that's your normal stuff like wood and paper, Class B for flammable liquids, and even those really nasty Class F fires, the ones from cooking oils and fats. It's also totally safe to use on electrical gear up to 1,000 volts. So in one little can, you've got a universal tool for basically any fire you'd run into in a public or commercial building. Okay, but what about the fires that start when nobody's around? Think about a server room in the dead of night, or a sealed electrical cabinet, or some kind of sensitive industrial machine. In those cases, you need a silent guardian, an automated system that can react long before any human even knows there's a problem. And that brings us to this idea of passive fire protection. The goal here is really simple. Have a system ready and waiting that can detect and extinguish a fire right where it starts, all on its own, without a single person having to do a thing. And the perfect solution for this scenario is Flamito. You can think of it like a smart, super targeted fire suppression unit. It's designed to be the modern replacement for old-school sprinkler systems, which,
let's be real, often cause way more damage with water than the fire ever would have. And this comparison chart just lays it all out. It's crystal clear. Flammatolt only goes off when the liquid inside its little glass vial hits exactly 84 degrees Celsius. Then it bursts, disperses the agent, and puts the fire out only in that immediate area, covering up to 16 cubic meters. A sprinkler system, it just floods the entire room, ruining everything in sight. And then you've got the long-term cost. Flammatolt needs zero maintenance and has a 10-year warranty. Sprinkler systems, they need constant expensive checkups. It's really no contest. Okay, on to our third and final scenario. We've talked about personal intervention and we've talked about automated protection. Now we're getting into the big leagues, large-scale, really complex fires, the kind that professional firefighters face in an industrial plant or when they're out battling a wildfire. In these situations, you need to take their most valuable resource, water, and make it exponentially more powerful. And that's where these specialized additives come into play. Meet MAR1 and MAR2. These are concentrates that, when you mix them with water, make that water 21 times more effective at cooling things down. But they're designed for different jobs. MAR1 is the industrial workhorse. It's built for those complicated fires involving oils, gas, hydrocarbons, classes A, B, C, and F. MAR2, on the other hand, is the environmental specialist. It's made specifically for Class A fires. Think forests, wood, and paper. Now, when it comes to MARS2, there is this one fascinating little detail. Its pH level is precisely 8.2. Now, that might just seem like a random technical number, right? But it's actually the entire key to its incredible ecological design. And this quote just explains it perfectly. A pH of 8.2 happens to be the sweet spot for the health of many kinds of trees. The formula is so carefully designed that it won't actually harm the very plant life it's trying to save. I mean, it's just a brilliant example of how science can be engineered to work in perfect harmony with nature, even during an emergency. So, what's the one thread that ties all of these products together, from that simple spray can all the way to these advanced additives? It's the commitment to delivering powerful results without leaving a negative environmental footprint behind. Across the entire product line, these solutions are completely biodegradable and non-toxic. They're certified safe for people, for animals, for whole ecosystems. They're not going to contaminate the soil or the groundwater, and they have zero potential to harm the ozone layer. This isn't just some nice-to-have feature, it's right at the core of their design philosophy. And believe me, this isn't just a theoretical benefit. Just look at this real-world case back in 2014. The Swedish government discovered that areas where they used conventional foams for fire training had suffered massive environmental damage. We're talking contaminated drinking water. With these next-gen agents, the outcome is totally different. They do their job, they put out the fire, and then they simply biodegrade, leaving nothing harmful behind. So, after looking at all this technology in these different scenarios, what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's that modern fire safety is all about shifting from a purely reactive mindset to a proactive and much more intelligent strategy. It's really about taking a hard look at your environment and matching the right tool to the specific risk you face. You need the simple, intuitive spray of Fire Delete for those immediate situations in public spaces. You need the silent to automated protection of Flamotow, guarding your critical unmanned infrastructure. And for those really big risks, you need the specialized power of additives like MAR1 and MAR2. It's a smart, layered, and complete approach. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Are the fire safety tools and plans you have in place right now actually designed for the challenges of today? Do they factor in speed, simplicity, collateral damage, and the environment? Or are they just relics from a time when our only real option was to trade one kind of damage for another?